November 5th, 2017. Guys, are you tired of winning yet? Let me know. Because the Antifa protests were one of the biggest Soros flops in history. I wonder how many billions all the signs and t-shirts and stuff like that cost him. But it was useless. It actually damaged their cause way more than it helped. It showed what complete idiots they were. And I talked about this yesterday. This goes higher than just the street level thugs, okay? It goes into mainstream media, social media, the government, and all branches of everything that you can think of. They have been placed. But guys, they are now in panic mode and they're losing, and this is not the time for us to back off. There's people out there that have been fighting from day one, and Steve Bannon was one of them. If you're not familiar with him, he was part of the presidential campaign, senior advisor, has now stepped away from the White House and is touring with through the country with different people that are running for senators and congressmen, Republicans, to replace the Antifa political class. And that's exactly what it is. Now, we've got two people that we've got to take down. We're going to do it politically. And it's Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. And I want everyone to focus on this because they are the two head snakes that pretend to be Republicans, but are not. But everyone should pay attention to Steve Bannon, what he's doing. Of course, senior editor at Breitbart, too, and that's one of the articles we're looking at right now. And he's saying, he's warning Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, if there's amnesty, they're going to get blown out. And guys, they need to be taken out regardless. Politically, I'm talking about now. I'm not talking about something stupid like Hillary would do. And we're about to be in 2018, and this is going to be our chance to really help the people in power drain the swamp. But we are power. We are the deplorables. We're unredeemable, according to Hillary. Well, Hillary, your uranium one thing is about to get you in big trouble. Let me read part of this article from the McConnell-Ryan attack from Steve Bannon, which he has 100% justification in doing. And Bannon's telling him, he says, the Republican establishment will get blown out if a plan is passed through the House and Senate that would give millions of illegal aliens in the U.S. permanent amnesty and thus a pathway to U.S. citizenship. Breitbart News Executive Chairman and former White House Chief Strategist Stephen K. Bannon says, during a speech to American families of illegal alien crime victims organized as the Remembrance Project, Bannon slammed efforts by House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to slip an amnesty for nearly 800,000 illegal aliens covered by the Obama-created DACA program into an end-of-the-year spending bill. Listen, this is how these guys are. It's not that the deplorables are against people of other nations, but you got to come in legally and you got to be vetted. Why? Because look at the chaos in Europe. Look at the no-go zones, guys. And if you talk about no-go zones in Europe, that's the quickest way to get your message blocked by mainstream media. And social media, they do not want to talk about this because that's their plans for the United States. You understand what I'm saying? Bannon said Mitch McConnell is on TV today. That would have been Friday, guys. And Paul Ryan was talking about it yesterday. They were over at the White House before the president left. I think it was Thursday. Senator Cotton Perdue and some of the other senators are really focused on doing something on illegal immigration. And he's saying this sarcastically. They were over there, and guess what they were talking about? DACA. They were talking about amnesty, and that's Bannon's way. That's Trump's way also. Just tell it like it is. And again, Mitch McConnell on TV saying he was going to attach the DACA amnesty to the spending bill. Guys, think about that. Why would they even want to do it? Why? Because they have been bought and paid for. Not only that, if the more illegal immigrants, again, they're Democrats, not Republicans, the more illegal immigrants that come in under their program will do two things. The corporate America will get cheap labor, and the Democrats will get votes. They don't care if they destroy the country as long as they stay in power. Bannon continued. He said it's time they finally understand something. If there's amnesty, they're going to get blown out. He's talking about this next year's election. We have fought this for years and years and years. He said the American people, and particularly folks in the Republican Party and the conservative movement, had said in no uncertain terms there will be no amnesty and there will be no path to citizenship. Bannon's statement on McConnell referred to an interview today in which the Senate Majority Leader caved into DACA amnesty by saying it ought to be attached to the other immigration reforms. He mentioned the immigration chain, which Trump was talking about last week. He said if Republicans and Democrats, which I don't think McConnell or Paul Ryan are Republicans, if they signed off on an amnesty plan for DACA illegal aliens, it could trigger a chain migration to the U.S. where by 9.9 million to 19 million foreign nationals will enter the country over the next several decades. And this is all because of our ex-traitor Obama trying to bring this nation down. And this is deeper than Antifa. This is Muslim Brotherhood. This is communism, Muslim Brotherhood. Bring in a little Satan there, and you've got your picture. Since DACA's inception, more than 2,100 DACA recipients saw their protected status revoked for being involved in gang activity or suspected or are convicted of a felony. Due to a loophole in the DACA program, more than 39,000 illegal aliens have been able to obtain green cards and more than 1,000 have been naturalized. Now, Mitch McConnell also said this week that there's no need to look into Robert Mueller's special investigation because we just need to let him do our job. Guys, it stinks to high heaven that McConnell is a traitor to his party and to this nation. I tell you what's happening, though, and we're winning. Mueller is bracing for challenges to his authority. I saw a report and studied it pretty good Friday, guys. 3 congressmen have made a resolution set forth to bring Mueller down. They're going to take this investigation away from him because they named about 10 indictments against him involved in the Uranium One case, saying that there's no way that he can carry on with this, too much conflict of interest, and he's guilty as sin. And that's what we're dealing with. Him, Rob Rosenstein, and the other people that are involved in this investigation were all Hillary plants and are now back in the FBI. But I think they're about to purge this, guys, and with each one of us putting pressure on to drain the swamp, we can do this. We've got to get Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan out. So we got to focus on getting information into their states where they will be reelected or thrown out this time. Guys, I think they're going to go down anyway. But we're going to try to do everything that we can to bring knowledge and enlightenment to their states and show them for what they are. And again, I want to go back to this GOP resolution against Mueller. They're saying he is compromised. Of course he's compromised, but let's look at what they're saying. The 3 lawmakers say the agency should be investigated for willful blindness over a 7-year-old sale of uranium production facilities to Russian interests, which conservatives have argued was approved in part by the Hillary Clinton-led State Department and at the same time a party to deal with making donations to the Clinton Foundation. Mueller, they note, was presiding over the FBI at that time. The agency was investigating the Russian bribery and extortion scheme connected to the uranium deal, but the agency declined to notify Congress of its investigation and prevented a confidential informant from notifying lawmakers. He has now been removed from that confidentiality agreement. Any thorough and honest investigation into the corruption of American uranium-related businesses must include investigating the willful blindness of the FBI and its leaders. It wasn't willful blindness. They were participating. Remember, Mueller delivered the yellow cake uranium, the first samples, himself personally. And something else that came out yesterday, guys, the FBI now has been forced to turn over the new Clinton investigation documents to Congress instead of hiding and setting on this. Now, there's been a lot of purging going on under the scenes as far as Trump getting rid of some of the holdouts from the Obama-Clinton era. But the Department of Justice has done one thing, and I don't know if it had anything to do with Senator Jeff Sessions, who I think needs to go also. But the DOJ has now, I think, forced the FBI to turn over the new Clinton investigation documents to Congress. The FBI began transmitting hundreds of pages of memos regarding the Bureau's probe into Hillary Clinton's private email server. Now that's big. And guys, this is the very edge of where we need to break that dam in the swamp. If we can get Hillary indicted along with the members of the FBI, then it's not going to stop till Obama is tied up in this also, and a few other people. But the sources said the Justice Department notified the Senate Judiciary Committee late Friday, and the FBI then began transmitting memos soon after to assist Congress in its review of former Director James Comey, his handling of the Clinton email case. And if you remember, Comey decided that Hillary was guilty, but no need to prosecute her. Remember? The new documents being transmitted to the Senate Judiciary Committee are expected to shed light on how the FBI made those decisions, who was involved, and whether the decision to clear Clinton was made before she was interviewed by FBI agents. Guys, that's already came out. They had made it a month before they interviewed her. Probably went over there and had coffee or had some drinks with her and sat around and laughed about how they're screwing the country over. That's probably the extent of the FBI. And their meeting with Clinton. The release of the new documents comes as new FBI Director Christopher Wray. Guys, remember that name. He may be one of the good guys. They've got him in there kind of dealing with Congress. And I think he's on Trump's side. I may be wrong, but I think he is. It says the release again of the new documents comes as new FBI Director Christopher Wray attempts to build his own relationship with Congress amid multiple oversight investigations. The release also comes hours after new documents came to light in federal lawsuits showing exactly when FBI Director Andrew McCabe recused himself from the Clinton email investigation, which was codenamed Mid-Year. McCabe was forced to step aside due to questions about a possible conflict of interest involving hundreds of thousands of dollars of money that flowed to his wife's political campaign from the Clinton ally. Guys, this is just how deep the swamp is. But we're winning. We're going to continue to win. Now, on the McConnell and Paul Ryan deal. Now, Kentucky, McConnell is going to be in your hands in this vote coming up. We're going to look at in the next few weeks the different people that are running against him, what we need to do to get behind them. And I guarantee you that Steve Bannon, who now has a lot of Republican donor money behind him, guys, the major donors now are pulling away from McConnell and Ryan and going with Bannon. Another sign that we're definitely winning. But again, look at this. He's always looked scared, like he's almost about to be caught in a lie. Have you ever noticed that in the interviews and all? And you guys in Wisconsin, I think District 1, if I'm not mistaken, we'll get all that together as we start into this video series, Draining the Swamp 2018, I think is what I'll call it. But Paul Ryan, guys, he's a traitor. You guys in Wisconsin, stand up for what's right. Get him out of the way. Let's make America great again. Guys, it's a heads up. It's great to be winning. Antifa, go home. You've been embarrassed. You embarrassed yourself. And let's move on with this nation, guys. It's a heads up. Be safe.